Hello and welcome to your Pick Me Up Morning Flow for Energy. My name is Mads, and today I'll be guiding you through a refreshing and rejuvenating practice to help you wake up your body and feel ready for the day ahead. When you're ready, make your way to standing in approximately the middle of your mat with your feet about hip width apart. We're going to take a few moments to arrive in our practice today and take a few deep breaths. So when you're ready, place one hand on your belly and the other on your chest. And we'll take a few deep breaths. And when you inhale, inhale through your nose and really feel your whole torso expand. So start with your belly and then feel the breath into your chest and then even feel it into your back as well. So a huge deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through the mouth and let your exhale be audible. Just let out all the tiredness and the grogginess and just feel the physical release of all of those negative things. One more. And one last really deep breath. Make this the biggest one so far. Feel everything expanding. Exhale it all out. Because today's class is about energy, I want to focus a little bit more on the spine and spinal waves in particular, because one of the most energizing movements for me is getting my spine moving. It helps me feel more mobile the rest of the day, and I find it makes my whole body feel more awakened. So if you're new to spinal waves, that's okay. I'll be breaking everything down and guiding you through everything. So we're going to start with some standing spinal waves, but we'll break down the movements. So together, let's inhale our arms up, reach toward the sky, allow your back to arch in a slight back bend, and then cactus the arms by bringing the elbows down and squeezing the shoulder blades together, puffing the chest open. And then we're going to do two movements simultaneously. So you're going to hinge at the hips and airplane your arms back, bending forward with a flat back. And then as soon as you feel your spine start to round, give into that and allow yourself to roll back up to standing. Your arms coming forward and then up towards the sky, and we'll repeat. Inhale, cactus the arms. Remember, pushing the chest forward, really feeling that opening through the heart. Airplane the arms back as you hinge forward with a flat back. And then as you get closer to the ground, round through the spine and begin to roll up to stand, reaching the arms up. So these are standing spinal waves. Let's move through them a few more times at your own pace. Maybe you want to pick up the speed a little bit and start to feel the fluidity of the spinal waves. And really start to connect your breath to the movement here. So inhale when we open our chest. Exhale as we come down and round through the spine. You can stay at that pace or do your own thing. Or if you want to do my pace, I'm going to start to speed up. One more, and on your way down, stay there. Coming into this ragdoll forward fold with a generous bend in your legs, swaying side to side. See if you can really feel that connection between your torso and your thighs. If you need to really bend your legs to bring them together, that's okay. And see if you can try to straighten them as much as possible while maintaining that connection to feel an activation in your hamstrings. Don't forget to breathe. Maybe you want to shake your head no and yes. Do some head circles here. And now bend into your left knee quite generously and place your fingertips, your left fingertips on the floor, on your mat. If this is a little too intense, you can come up to your knee, but if it feels right for you, then keep your fingertips on the mat. Straighten a little bit more through your right leg, and then begin to peel your right arm up towards the sky. And maybe, if it feels comfortable, gazing up towards the right hand. Take a deep breath, and then begin to circle the right arm in big, intentional circles. So nothing fast and with momentum, just keep it nice and intentional. And now we'll switch sides. So you're going to bend into your right leg, place the right hand on the mat or on your knee, straighten through the left leg as much as you can comfortably, and peel the left arm up. Gazing towards the sky, and then take those arm circles. Whichever direction you want to go in, it doesn't really matter. And after doing 3 or 4, come back to center, and then begin to roll up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Maybe take this opportunity to grab a sip of water. Maybe walk your feet out a little bit. Shake your arms out. The next stretch we're going to do is a little bit intense, but I find it to be one of the most energizing stretches that I do almost every morning. So just be open-minded about this one. This isn't a traditional yoga pose, but it's definitely a movement that I love in my practice. So interlace your fingers, reach your arms up overhead, and then flip your hands so that your palms are facing the ceiling. For this motion, we want to pretend that we're pushing the ceiling away with our hands. So we're really pushing up through the shoulders and keeping our elbows locked, if that feels comfortable, and pretend that you're pushing into the ceiling. And then begin to arch your back a little bit, kind of pushing your shoulders back in space at the same time. And then we're going to bend our knees kind of like we're going into chair pose, except not. So you're going to keep all of your joints stacked, so no hinging forward here. We're going to be pushing up straight and back, and then allow your knees to bend. Keep pushing the ceiling away. Feel it in your back, your shoulders, maybe your calves, and release. How does that feel? Let me know in the comments if that's too intense or if you liked it. It's a fun one for me. So bring your hands back into that position with your arms up overhead, pushing the ceiling away and your palms facing the ceiling. And then we'll do a side body stretch on each side. So begin to shift your weight in. I'll show you this way. Begin to shift your weight into your left foot, and then bring your right foot behind you and a little bit far over to the left. So you're in this crisscross position, and then begin to bend over to the side and feel that intense bend in your side body, your right side body. Breathing into that side body, giving it lots of space. Come back to center, plant your right foot down, and then shift your weight onto the right. Bring your left foot over into that crisscross position and take a bend into the other side. I just heard my back crack, so if that happens to you, that's okay. Come back to center. Release the hands, maybe shake them out a little bit if you lost a little bit of circulation. And then make your way to tabletop position. So we're going to be working through some spinal waves in tabletop, but we're going to start with small movements and work our way up. So let's have a stable base, your fingers spread wide, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and we'll take some cat-cows. So starting off with cow, inhale to arch your back, squeeze those shoulder blades together and press your hips up towards the sky, gazing forward. Exhale to round through the spine, spreading those shoulder blades apart and really pushing into the mat here. Inhale for cow, exhale for cat. A couple more times on your own. Feeling a connection to the breath and your movements. And then we'll take this a little bit bigger. So what I mean by that is instead of doing a stationary cat-cow, we're going to move into a moving cat-cow. So we're going to be moving forward and backwards in space. So bring yourself into cow pose and shift forwards so that your shoulders come a little bit over your wrist, and then begin to push yourself back in space, and as your hips come more towards your heels, round through the back for cow pose, and then come back up and repeat. So we're doing that same motion between cat and cow, but we're just adding a forwards and backwards movement into it. For me, it feels quite intuitive, but there's no wrong or right way of doing this. Just try to feel whatever feels natural for you. Don't forget to breathe. Maybe you want to make this shape even bigger by walking your hands farther forward and then coming back even farther. And then when you come forward, coming into this cobra variation. So it's an even deeper back bend here than cow pose. And then coming back. We're almost in child's pose here, but our hips are still lifted. So this big wave forward. And backwards. And like I said before, you can go at whatever pace feels comfortable for you, but I'm going to start to speed up a little bit to really feel the fluidity of this and allow my spine to kind of enjoy this motion, this wave-like motion. And you can make this your own. You can do big circles. You can do smaller movements. Whatever feels right for you. You're just adding more motion into your cat-cow transitions. And if this feels completely foreign and really weird, it's okay. It will take time, but it's all good for your spine, no matter what kind of movement you're doing and what it looks like. So next we're going to take that into downward facing dog, But again, we'll break it down into steps because this one is a little bit more challenging. So when you're ready, begin to press into the ground with your fingers. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, and push your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal out your feet, just kind of settling into this pose a little bit. Since this is likely your first down dog of the day, so no need to have your heels down or your legs straight. Focusing on lengthening through the spine, framing your ears with your biceps, and really pushing the floor away with your hands. So to break the spinal waves down in this position, first we're going to come forward into plank. Hold that for a second, and then come back to down dog. Come forward into plank, bringing those shoulders above the wrists. Everything is straight and strong. Back to downward facing dog. This time in plank, lower your knees and then lift them for downward facing dog. Now this time, when you come into plank, roll forward. So by roll, I mean begin to feel that rounded spine. So we're not keeping things neutral anymore. We're beginning to round as we come into plank. Lowering your knees. Arch through the back, open the chest for a cow pose, and then come back up into downward facing dog. So let's do that one more time. Round forward, roll forward to plank, lower the knees, cow back, downward facing dog. And now let's begin to do it without letting the knees touch the ground. So roll forward into the plank, lower the knees a little bit so they're hovering, and come back. Let's get a little faster. So now it becomes this wave-like motion. And again, there's nothing right or wrong, no matter what it looks like for you. Moving your spine in this way is good for you, so it doesn't have to look perfect. Mine certainly is not perfect. Just try to experience this wave-like motion. And then lower the knees and come into a brief child's pose. How are you feeling? Are you energized yet? I certainly am. Allow yourself to settle for a second, and then we'll make our way back up into downward facing dog. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video and take as much time as you need. Have a glass of water. Remember, this is your practice, and you don't have to follow my pace. But whenever you're ready, let's make our way back into downward dog, only briefly. And then inhale your right leg forward in between your hands. We're going to be coming up into high lunge, but your stance doesn't have to be too wide here because we're focusing more on the spine. So bring stability into your legs as you rise up. My stance is a little bit shorter and higher today. That's what feels right for me, so do whatever feels right for you. Inhale your arms up, and then exhale for those cactus arms again. So like we did at the beginning, bringing the elbows down and back, and your shoulder blades are squeezed together as you're puffing your chest open. Inhale the arms up, and then exhale into a high lunge twist. Feeling that rotation in the upper spine. One more time through each of them. Inhale the arms up, exhale cactus. Inhale the arms up, Exhale for high lunge twist. And then cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot. Lower your back knee. And then take your back foot, your left foot, and bring it over to the edge of your mat. We're going to be coming into a modified side plank. So keep your knee where it is, and then extend your right leg back in a straight line so that it's aligned with your bent knee. And then bring your hand forward as if you're going into plank, but in a modified version. Peel your right arm up, gaze towards your right hand, and then we'll take those arm circles again. Don't forget to breathe. Really engage your obliques on the side that is closest to the ground here. And then reach up and over for a nice side body stretch. And then we'll come into a variation of gate pose. So ground through your legs here, engage your core and lift your torso up. And then whatever feels comfortable for you, you can either place your right hand on your thigh or extend it down towards your foot that's extended. And then reach the other arm up and over for a side body bend on the other side. Try to not have your shoulder come forward. Keep everything nice and tall and lengthened here. If that means you can't bend as deeply, that's okay. And cartwheel the hands back down. Come back into downward facing dog. And we'll go onto the other side. I'm just going to face this direction so you can see the other side more clearly. So inhale our left leg forward. Remember, the stance is up to you. Stabilize through the legs and the core as you lift up. Inhale your arms up. Exhale for cactus arms, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale for that high lunge twist. Gazing towards the hand at the back if that feels comfortable. Inhale one more time for each movement. Exhale to cactus arms. Inhale the arms up. Exhale for the twist. And then cartwheel the arms down to frame the front foot. Lower the back knee. Bring your right foot over to the outer edge of the mat. Bring your left foot back behind and straight, lining up with your bent knee. Hand comes in front of you. And then peel your left hand up for modified plank. And then we'll take those arm circles. Remember, these are not leading with momentum. Try to be intentional with your movements to get the most out of them. Working on a little bit of mobility. Doesn't matter which direction you go in. You could even do both if you wanted. And then reach your arm up and over to really feel it in your left side body. And then when you're ready, stabilize and ground through your legs. Engage your core and lift your torso up. We'll take that modified gate pose. So wherever feels right for you, reach your opposite arm up and over to stretch the other side body. And then cartwheel the arms back. I will face this direction again. We're almost done here. we're going to take an active puppy pose. So you might be familiar with a passive puppy pose, which is where you put the arms in front of you and then sink down with the back bend with your forehead on the mat. We're going to take a more engaged, energizing version where our fingertips are lifted. And then we're not actually touching the floor with anything, like with our forehead. You're going to lift through the arms and have your back be more straight and neutral. And then bring your forehead close to the ground, but don't touch it. That one's really fiery. Good, and release. Walk your hands back and come into a comfortable seat at the back of your mat. This could be cross-legged or kneeling like me. And inhale your arms up, palms touch, and take a twist to the left. So your right hand comes to your left knee, left hand comes behind you. You can either touch the floor or you can place it on your lower back, whatever feels comfortable for you. Gazing towards your back shoulder, if that feels okay. Take a couple deep breaths here on your own. Inhale back through center. Exhale the other side. Whatever variation feels right. If it's the same as it was on the first side, or if it's different. After a couple breaths, come back through center. Palms touch and lower your hands in prayer pose. We'll finish off with a few more deep breaths. So bring one hand to your belly and the other hand to your chest. And remember, really feel expansive in these breaths. So inhale and feel your belly and your chest and your back expanding as big as you can go. And that audible exhale through your mouth to let everything go. One more together, the biggest breath so far. That's where I leave you today. I hope that you're feeling more energized, your muscles are feeling activated, and your spine is feeling nice and mobile and ready for whatever task you have ahead of you. Try to take a moment here to really feel the energy running through your body and just channel that energy into the rest of your day. And thank yourself for showing up on the mat today. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day.